Welcome back to Hot Takes, my boys. It's the MMA series I'm doing where y'all are going to be submitting to me your controversial MMA and UFC hot takes, and we go over them. We see where y'all are at on the spectrum here. Do I agree or disagree with this hot take you're submitting to me, and how hot of a take is it? Is it actually someone that people get riled up over, or is it just your basic take? That's what we're going to be going over today, man. So as usual, my boys, thank you so much to anybody who submitted anything in. So just starting off with the first one we got here, man. Coming from Flynn MMA, saying that Ilia Topuria, mate, is gonna be losing to every ranked welterweight. Now, here's the thing. Here's the fucking thing, you guys. To an extent, I can really see where you're coming from, because Topuria, even at lightweight, I understand that he hits just as fucking hard, if not harder, up the weight class, and I understand that he fits the mold well, but let's not fucking deny that he is short for the weight class. He's not the lengthiest guy, he's not the tallest, not the rangiest, like Topuria, I almost called him Toptoro there. Fucking McGregor is a poison to everything we know about the English language, bro, but at the end of the day, but Topuria still, regardless, I feel like welterweight, it might be a stretch, man, because lightweight, he fucking fits it perfectly, and featherweight, he can make the cut, and he hits really fucking hard, he moves quick as fucking lightning in there, but I feel like welterweight is where you're gonna be pushing it a bit. Like, he definitely can make the weight, he definitely can beat a solid amount of guys in the rankings, but at the end of the day, size, unfortunately, fellas, does fucking matter, especially in this case, because you have a guy like Islam Makhachev or Charles Oliveira, who might be the better grapplers than a guy like Belal Muhammad, but you can't deny that Belal Muhammad fits the 170 mold pretty well, so the strength that he might have up there, I mean, I understand that he has the finishing ability of a fucking great, but at the end of the day, he still is a strong fucking guy. He's really good at controlling guys on the ground, really ragdolling him down there. He has a high output on the feet to be able to hold his own. So a guy like Belal Muhammad, ranked number 1, could give a lot of problems to Topuria, but to be able to beat Topuria, man, you don't just have to have really good grappling. You do, but you also have to have a balance of the striking. You have to have finishing ability, and you also have to have a granite fucking chin, which was Volkanovski, which was Max Holloway, and then Charles Oliveira a bit as well. Like, all these guys, I understand Oliveira is not really a nightmare matchup for Topuria, but when you have guys with the skill sets of Holloway and Volkanovski, who usually have very good chins, especially for Holloway standards, and are really able to hang on the fucking feet, they got solid pop behind their shots, they're quick as fuck, they can hang in the pocket with damn near fucking anybody, and they have the grappling in their back pocket, especially Volkanovski, to really do some fucking damage on guys, or at least for Holloway, it's a great takedown defense kind of thing. But when you have these guys who are so elite, and even Topuria is walking fucking through them, and the lighter skills are usually the better weight classes, like, it goes to show that welterweight, the only thing that's really going to be stopping Topuria, if he ever did make the move up there, or if he is going to go against the Sean Bradys or the Rachmanovs, the Leon Edwards, the Ian fucking Garys, the Joaquin Buckleys, alright? I think it is just going to be the size discrepancy, because Ilia Topuria does hit fucking hard, clearly at lightweight as well, but when you have these guys like Sean Brady and Belal Muhammad, who are so wrestle heavy, and you have well-rounded guys like Kamaru Usman and Shavkat Rakhmonov, and you got the slick strikers and the Ian Garys and the Joaquin Buckleys, like, they definitely can present problems to Topuria, but I just think that skill set wise, Topuria is just a level, I don't want to say above these guys, but it really does seem like the case. And I love welterweight. It's my favorite division right now. These guys are on fire, and all the prospects have taken the fuck over. And I think that at the end of the day, Topuria's power is too much. He's too fucking well-rounded. He's young and in his prime. So I don't really know which specific welterweights he can beat, because at the end of the day, like, we don't know how his strength on the ground is going to hold up, how his takedown defense is going to hold up, how his striking, if it really is going to hit the same even up at welterweight, because going from 145 to 170 is fucking huge. I'm not really sure which fighter specifically Topuria would beat, but I would assume that he could at least beat half of the guys in the fucking rankings here, man. He's got all the skills to do it, but I just think it's primarily going to be a matter of, will his strength hold up to be able to hang with these guys that are much fucking bigger, much longer, rangier, and are going to be able to withstand their fucking shots. Like, when fucking McGregor was knocking out everybody left and right, not to sound like Joe Rogan here and do the McGregor comparisons, but when McGregor was knocking out everybody left and right, and he moved up to the Iron Wall chin at 170 from Nate Diaz, the power just didn't translate the same. So weight classes are a real fucking thing for a reason. So Topuria, he's got a really good chance to beat some of the welterweights, at least half in my opinion. But when you get to these guys like Shavkat or Belal, or I don't even know who the fuck else, especially a guy like JDM, I think they'd give Topuria a real fucking problem. So moving on up next to Otis Whaley, saying that Pantoja versus Van is going to be the most hyped up flyweight fight ever. Now, get ready, y'all, for me to put my casual hat on, because guess what? I fucking agree. You gotta think, what are some of the biggest flyweight fights in UFC history? You got the Moreno versus Figgy trilogy, or I'm sorry, quad fucking trilogy. You have Demetrius Johnson versus Henry Cejudo the second time. You have Henry Cejudo once again taking on TJ Dillashaw. That's one of the bigger ones of the modern era. But genuinely, y'all, and I don't mean this as any disrespect disrespect to the flyweight division, but it's hard to really name a lot of big other high-level flyweight title fights other than that. And when I say high level, I don't mean in terms of skill set. Like, there's been some really fucking good guys that have gotten to compete for the flyweight title. Now, winning, it's a whole different story. That's an entirely other different elite kind of class. You only have a very few number of guys that have actually won the title, but flyweight's one of the divisions where it's not really known for just headlining events or having really big fan investment for their scraps. Unfortunately, I wish the flyweights got more respect. I think that in the past couple of years, we've been seeing the turn fucking tables, and the flyweights are having really good matchups. The flyweights are putting together really fun scraps as well, and I just feel like you can look at a Pantoja co-main, and whereas a few years ago, be like, oh, what the fuck is this? Or like, why are we getting this? Or I guess it's like someone we're gonna have to sit through. Nowadays, it's like, oh wow, if you saw Pantoja versus Van on the card, that card is getting a lot fucking better. And I think that goes to show that Demetrius Johnson, even when he was around and was the pound for pound king, he didn't really have that gravitation with the fans. And even the guys after that, like Brandon Moreno, huge fan favorite, huge fucking representative for Mexico, but he didn't have that same level of buzz going into his fights. And then Pantoja at first didn't really either, but I feel like right now, him moving up the pound for pound rankings and him learning fucking English, and then Joshua Van, this motherfucking mini iron golem, bro, he doesn't even speak a blink of a word on stage in front of the presser, but people just love him for his exciting, non-stop, high pressure, high fucking action, high volume striking, and just insane fighting style, man. Joshua Van, we love him, not for the words that come out of his mouth, there's barely anything, but for the striking and the grit and just the display of entertainment he puts on for the fans, and not even for the fans, man, but this guy pieces motherfuckers up. It's so entertaining to watch. The fans love him, and the back-to-back wins over Royval and Silva really just put himself on the map, because if you're with the hardcores hardcore and their fucking mother, you know that Joshua Van has a lot of championship potential, and even these wins on the come up, like, you could turn your way and say, oh, this guy's gonna be huge, but it's a lot better said than done. So now that he really is the full-fledged number one contender, now that he's like going and racking up legitimate names on his resume, and now you look at like his only real skirmish, or the only real time he's lost in the UFC was a fight that he was mostly winning against Charles Johnson, and he got knocked the fuck out. So Joshua Van is a true number one contender that the fans love and can believe in. And this fight alone, these guys aren't really trash talkers, but their action and just credibility is going to really be able to sell this fight. So in my opinion, man, I do think that this will be the most hyped flyweight fight ever. You got to consider that DJ never really sold much, and that Moreno didn't either, and like these guys did great things for the division and for the sport, but at the end of the day, I might sound like a fucking casual here, and all the old heads are going to have a problem with it, but I do think that this will be the most hyped up flyweight fight ever. You have way more people now than ever invested in the weight class. You have so many people invested in Pantoja and Van individually. You know that this is just a big fight feel to it. And with so many more fans just watching the sport right now compared to when DJ was on top, like I really do think that a lot of people are going to be excited for this one. It's not going to feel forced, like, oh, I mean, it's just another flyweight title fight. Like, people are amped the fuck up for this, so I might sound like a casual here or a people forget man kind of guy, but genuinely, I do agree with this. I think it's a hot take for sure, depending on who you ask, but in general, like, I think that this really, it's, for, in my opinion as a fan, the most I've ever been looking forward to a flyweight title fight. A bit by far, to be honest with you. I have loved the peaks that the weight class has hit, but I love Joshua Van, and I really respect the fucking of Pantoja, and I know this fight will be amazing. It's a coin tosser of whoever's gonna win. I'm going with Pantoja, but Joshua Van has a real fucking chance, and he has the plot armor, and I'm just fucking genuinely excited for it, so I'm sure a lot of people are as well. So I agree with this one, to be honest, even though the old heads and a certain amount of people will say that maybe not, but I agree with this take, man. Moving on up next to Emmanuel saying that Merab and DDP will both be double champions before their end of their careers. Now, you got Merab probably saying, hey, you know, I do not want to move up and face Volkanovski. This guy very respectful. I want no trouble. But Sean O'Malley, I will run the quadrilogy with you till the day I die. I do not want double champ. I want paycheck and to play Xbox with Aljamain Sterling. Merab has no fucking interest in double champ status. And DDP, I'm pretty sure after he even won the belt, he was one of those guys where like a Leon Edwards as well. They're just like, oh, you know, it's time to move up and move on to the next fucking title. Chill the fuck out, my brother. And you gotta rack up some title defenses. But now that DDP is doing that, and now that Merab is officially the bantamweight go, I feel like these two haven't really recently expressed too much interest in moving up and becoming double champs, but they definitely have the skill sets to fucking do it. If Dricus du Plessis beats Khamzat Chimaev, which I think he fucking will, he's gonna become arguably the go to the weight class. And then you have Merab, who already fucking is for his, and if he goes out there and whoops Sandhagen and beats Umar in a rematch, or beats a big bad Mario Batista, he's gonna be even more undeniable. But I just think that both these guys, they definitely have the skill sets to become double champ. Like Dricus, I feel like he would do very well at light heavyweight. I feel like that he's a big fucking guy that struggles to already make 185, and the Looney Tunes style would translate well up at light heavyweight. He's well-rounded enough to fucking hang with a lot of those guys. Despite the size discrepancy being huge on paper, I think that it won't matter too much for Drickish. He's got all the skills and the power to do well at light heavyweight, so maybe he could beat an Alex Pereira or a Big Ank and shit like that, but I feel like that maybe he could be a double champ. We're really gonna have to see how he does against Chimaev and Imavov first of all, maybe even a Baraujo before we start talking about double champ status for DDP, but he definitely has the skill set to fucking get it done, and I would love to see it. I'm a huge DDP fan. He's my favorite champion right now, so all due respect to him. And for Merab, another guy who I'm fucking kind of rooting for right now, I do think that he does have the skill set to become a double champ. Like, definitely not moving down to 125. That would kill this little fucking gnome here. But moving up to 145, I feel like that he has the strength and the durability and the cardio to be able to do well up there. Like, he can hang with the best strikers at 135, so I feel like there's no reason why he can't hang with the best strikers at 145. Like, I feel like he has a really good chance against a guy like Volkanovski or Evloev or fucking, who is it? Like Sterling. Well, I would say Sterling, but they're playing Xbox Live together. But you know what I mean. Even the biggest or the most well-rounded guys at 145, even the guys with the most experience, I think Merab, I think he'd have a really good chance against him. Like, if we're talking about O'Malley having a really good chance at 145, I understand he's lengthier and bigger than a guy like Merab, but Merab is fucking bulkier and he's fucking stronger to where I think that he will be able to do well at 145. So do DDP and Merab become double champs? I personally don't think so, but honestly, I could fucking see it. The skill sets paid the fucking bill sets. And all right, moving on up next to Brody Reeves saying that here's a hot take. Joshua Van's toughest matchup will be Brandon Moreno because 1, Moreno's boxing and striking is very high level, and 2, Moreno doesn't get cracked a lot. 3, Moreno could finish in striking and in grappling. And 4, you're giving me a whole fucking lawyer type argument here. You got 4, Joshua Van hasn't faced anybody who can match him in the boxing department, and Moreno does just that. Now, here's the thing, man. Here's the fucking thing, you guys. I do not agree with this one, to be honest. This is a hot take for sure, because with all due respect to Moreno, this is a hot take. I think that Moreno would probably be able to beat a guy like Joshua Van right now. To be honest with you, like, would I go with Joshua Van to win that one before the Royval fight? No, I would have went with Moreno. But afterwards, because I think Royval and Moreno are on a very similar skill set level, I would probably go with Joshua Van. But Brandon Moreno could definitely get it done. He has much more experience. He does have great boxing, like you said. He has a great chin, so I don't think he'll get knocked down or really finished by Van. So I feel like the fight would just be a primarily striking battle. These guys would not be afraid to get in the pocket with each other. Both of them are very high output on the feet, but much more so for Joshua Van, and he also hits a bit fucking harder. So I think this would be great, sweet, fucking striking on display. And I think that Moreno does have a good chance, but I honestly think that Joshua Van would be able to get past him at this fucking stage right now, which is crazy to say because he's only 23. But again, Brandon Royval has a similar style to Moreno. He's a bit more well-rounded, is a lot more open and mixing it up on the ground than Moreno is, but Moreno still has that in his back fucking pocket. You know what I'm saying? And you bring up good points. Like, Moreno would be a dangerous fight for Joshua Van. He has a really good chance of winning, but to say that he's his toughest matchup, I don't think so, because me personally, I think that Pantoja is. Like, I think that Pantoja is his nightmare fucking matchup, because Pantoja is good enough to hang on the feet with Joshua Van. He has an even better fucking chin than Brandon Moreno. He's not, I would say, better than Moreno in terms of the striking, but he's good enough to hold his own up there, and he does have a better fucking chin. Like, it's so hard to finish Pantoja, to beat Pantoja, to rock Pantoja. The only guy that's ever really rocked him was Figueiredo, who's one of the hardest hitters in history for the weight class. So Joshua Van, he does hit solidly fucking hard. He's been developing pop behind his shots, and I feel like that he does rely much more on the volume, though, above the power. He's like the flyweight Max Holloway, genuinely. You know what I'm saying? In general, I think that Pantoja's chin, the fact that he can hang on the fucking feet at a very high pressure and a very high level, the fact that his grappling is so dominant. He's so good with his takedown entries. He's so good at getting the submissions when he fucking wants. He's so good at getting guys' backs. Like, Alexandre Pantoja is levels above, it seems like, a lot of these guys for the entire division, even the most well-rounded guys, in terms of the pure grappling. And just the fact that he has great cardio, just the fact that he has high output and good striking, like, it makes Pantoja just such a nightmare, well-rounded fucking matchup. He's 1 or 2 fights away from a lot of people putting him above Demetrius Johnson all time, which is crazy to say, man. So I think Pantoja is the real nightmare matchup here for Joshua Van. It's going to be a tough go for him, but I think that Brandon Moreno is one of the tougher fights for him. But to say that he's the toughest opponent, I see what you're saying. I can appreciate the argument. I like the reasoning, but at the end of the day, he's more so of like a top 3 or 4 toughest challenge for Joshua Van instead of the toughest guy he could face right now, especially after beating up on Royval for 3 rounds. It was a very close fight, but you know what I'm fucking saying. So this is a hot take, my brother. And moving on up next to Biscuit Boy, saying that every co-main event for a pay-per-view and a crowded fight night should be 5 rounds with or without a belt. Now, honestly, I'm down for this. I wish that the UFC did 5-rounders a bit more often, so saying that we need this for every pay-per-view, I think for sure every pay-per-view, but even for a co-main event for like a fight night, which might not seem like a big deal for like a Nashville or Des Moines, like I feel like if you have an opportunity to make a 5-rounder, it should be a bit encouraged. Like now, most of the time, it kind of inclines guys to go a bit slower, a bit more of a slow pace, just so that they can last all 5 rounds and a bit less output. It's a bit more of a chess match. They're getting a lot more technical with it, but at the end of the day, I appreciate the 5-rounders. I don't mind if it's slowed down a bit, and that doesn't necessarily mean they all are. You got Bilal versus JDMs and the Merab versus Umars. I know they're title fights, but even like an Ian Gary versus a Carlos Prates, like the 5-rounders can be fucking bangers, man. So at the end of the day, I appreciate them for what they are. It definitely takes a bit more in training camp to get that out of guys, and definitely it could be something that turns off a lot of fighters. For some fighters, it might not be too appealing, but I feel like a lot of them would be fucking down for this, and I think it just goes to show that when you're getting in these top 5, top 10 matchups, like the quality of fighter is just so fucking elite at this stage in the game to where give them more time to work, man. I feel like it is obviously going to be more advantageous for certain guys than others, but I do like this idea. Let's make all the co-mains 5-rounders for every fight night and pay-per-view. Let's fucking do it, man. More 5-rounders, more time in the cage for these guys. If it's like a Miranda Maverick versus a Rose Namajunas, please fuck no. Let's just take that with the 3 rounds, all right? Not to call anybody out here specifically, but if that's the kind of co-main, then no, I'd rather not sit through fucking half an hour of it with the commercials and the walkout, and it's definitely going to go the distance. I'm alright, but for most of these fights, man, I understand what you're saying. It should be held as prestigious to kind of be that co-main event and to be up there in the rankings for the top 10. So I'm down for more 5-rounders, and I'm down for this standard for longer co-main events consistently. So moving on up next to another Topuria one we got here, coming from Harsha Tomas, saying that Ilya would end up as the first 3-division champion in the UFC. He would beat JDM for the welterweight title after 2 or 3 years. Now, 2 or 3 years in Georgia, and forget, my brother. That's what people should be saying, seeing how Merab and Topuria are taking the fuck over right now. But honestly, man, we were talking about this earlier, how Ilya kind of matches up against the welterweights. Like, I think that he has a really good chance against a lot of them, but like I was preaching, man, to the motherfucking choir, I feel like the size differential is just going to be too fucking much. And the question mark about, oh, is Topuria going to hit just as hard as 155 as he did at 145? I feel like that was a no fucking brainer. Usually featherweights translate their skill sets and their power pretty fucking well up from 145 to 155, but 170 is a whole other fucking ballpark, man. Like, it's 25 fucking pounds heavier than what Topuria was dealing with at featherweight. These guys are just so much taller. They have much bigger reach. Their chins are going to be even fucking better because they're used to guys hitting so fucking hard in these welterweight and middleweight weight classes. So for Topuria, I'm not denying that he can't fucking get it done, but I'm not sure he gets past a guy like JDM. Like, JDM is going to be able to match him in the boxing department. JDM has a great chin. He's got great cardio, great takedown defense. He's good in the clinch. He hits fucking hard. I think that he's not going to be afraid to get into the pocket with a guy like Topuria, and he's going to have so much fucking height and reach on him to where I could see him having really good head movement, really good footwork, and dodging Ilya Topuria's biggest fucking shots and landing clean to the body, landing clean to the head, and just outworking him in there and really frustrating Ilya on the feet. And the fact that JDM's got such good takedown defense and defensive grappling in general now, like, it goes to show that the guy is becoming a nightmare matchup for a lot of guys. Islam fucking Makhachev, pound for pound #1 gone too, included in that argument. So I honestly think at this stage of the fucking game, man, purely because of the size differential and just the fact that he's good enough to hang with Topuria's skill set, I think JDM would be able to beat Topuria. Now, you did say specifically after 2 or 3 years, so you're saying 2 or 3 years from now. I don't even know if JDM's going to be the fucking champ by then. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to beat Topuria by then, or if Topuria is still going to be in the fucking sport. But if Topuria is, and if he's just piecing up everybody at 155 and knocking him out and even submitting him, like, because we know he's able to do that, people forget, man, this guy was putting Charles Oliveira in the crucifix. Like, Topuria's ground game and his striking is so elite to where I don't know who the fuck's gonna beat him at 155. He's whooping Arman, he's whooping Patty the fucking Patty, and he's whooping Gaethje. I think he has a really good chance of beating Makhachev. So at the end of the fucking day, like, Makhachev and JDM are really the only 2 guys I can clearly see, at least in this range of vision right now, beating Topuria, because I feel like Topuria could be able to outstrike and even fucking take down a Joaquin Buckley, who's so much beefier than him and bulkier than him and stronger than him overall, but I think Topuria is good enough to where I could see it fucking happening. I think Topuria versus a Bilal, or Topuria versus an Ian Gary, or Topuria versus a Sean Brady, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Carlos Prates. There's fun and exciting and dangerous matchups for him, but I feel like he beats at least most of those guys. But in order to beat an Islam Makhachev and a JDM and really become the first 3 division champ, I feel like is a different fucking story, because Topuria is well-rounded enough and skilled enough and young enough, quick enough, powerful enough to where I think that he really could become the first. Like, history's got to be fucking made eventually. And we've seen the point where we've seen a lot of double champs now at this stage in the game. But for 3 divisions to be taken over by one fucking man, I think Ilia Topuria has the skill set and the plot armor to fucking get it done. So I would say that this isn't the craziest take in the world, but it's still a hot fucking take, because I just think that the size might be too much up at welterweight. And I just think that Father Time might get the best of everybody. Maybe we just don't see it from Topuria, or maybe somebody is able to challenge him at 155. So the fact that you said 2 or 3 years, like, may fucking be. In that amount of time, so many things can change. We could have 2 new welterweight champs by then. Topuria can get fraud checked or something like that. Islam Makhachev could retire as the GOAT. We don't know the historic shit that's about to happen, but if JDM or whoever the fuck is still the champ at the same time Topuria is 2 or 3 years from now, if he's able to move up and really apply the same power and pressure up at welterweight, man, he'll just be undeniably the GOAT of the sport, the first ever 3 division champ. I could see him getting it done, but it's going to be so much easier said than done. It's such a heavy fucking feat for guys to do. A 25-pound range is no fucking joke, and Topuria is standing there at a short and stocky 5'7". Even though he hits like a fucking truck, you know what I'm saying. So this is definitely a hot take, but I can maybe see Topuria getting it done. We really are going to have to see how these next few years go, man. We're witnessing fucking history. It's exciting, but fucking scarier, man. So hot take for sure, but I can maybe see him getting it done. So moving on up next to Christian Velkov. I'm sorry if I botched the fuck out of your name, brother, but saying that 1, Payton Talbott is a future top contender, and 2, Rob Font beats the shit out of Raul Rosas Jr., ending his hype. Now, the thing is about number 2. If Raul Rosas Jr. were to fight Rob Font, because I've heard that fight is in the works for Noche UFC, I genuinely think that Rob Font would win that fight. Like, Rob Font's one of these guys who is beating everybody. He's like a Dan Ige a bit, but I feel like a little bit higher level, to where he's beating everybody except that upper echelon of the rankings, or anybody who's in the top 10. Like, most of the time they're beating a Rob Font, but if you're not that, Rob Font is smoking the fuck out of everybody else. He's either knocking you out or showing the gritty experience levels and just out wrestling you or looking solid in the clinch. And I feel like Rob Font, his takedown defense, it's not all that. And his power on the feet, it's nothing too revolutionary here. But Rob Font is good enough and is such a people forget man kind of fighter to where I think he really would beat the fuck out of Raul Rosas Jr. I feel like his takedown defense, it's not great, but I feel like it could hold up against the much more inexperienced Raul Rosas Jr. Because Raul Rosas Jr., bro, this guy, he is worthy of the hype. His skill set, especially on the ground, is really fucking good, and his striking develops more and more every fight. He's got a solid chin, so he's worthy of investing in. But going straight up to Rob Font after kind of just beating up on a bunch of jobbers outside the rankings, like, Rob Font is a huge test for him. Like, I feel like he'd piece him up on the feet. I feel like he'd be a little bit quicker than him in there. He has so much more experience. He has a really durable chin. He's able to fucking scrap. He's throwing high output. So again, even with the weaker takedown defense and Raul Rosas Jr. having the advantage on the ground, I don't think that Rob Font would allow it to really be down there for most of the fucking fight. So I would see Rob Font beating the fucking Raul Rosas Jr. So I agree with you, to be honest. I think that Raul Rosas Jr., it's crazy to say, but he'd be a slight favorite going against Rob Font. I think the odds makers and a bunch of people would be going with Raul Rosas Jr. to win, but hey, man, people fucking forget about Robbie Fuentes, bro. I think that Rob Font, I agree with you, even though this is a hot take, I think that he would beat the shit out of Raul Rosas Jr. Now, if that fight goes down 3 years from now, it might not be the same case, but because Raul Rosas Jr. is turning fucking 21. He's got to throw out his fake ID suit, all right? He just turned 21 this year. It's crazy to say, but going on to your other take, Payton Talbott is a future top contender. Let me tell you about this motherfucker, Payton Talbott, bro. I told y'all not to give up on him. I'm not hopping off of the hype train, and I'm sticking around for the future top contender rise of Payton Talbott, man, because I'm down for this as well. This might be a hot take, more hot of a take than honestly Font beating up Raul Rosas Jr., but I'm still going to agree with this one. I don't think Payton Talbott's ever going to become champion. I feel like that there are guys that are going to be able to be durable enough to hang with him on the feet, like an Umar Nurmagomedov could give a shit ton of problems to a Payton Talbott, or even a guy like Merab or Sandhagen, Sean O'Malley. Like, there's so many guys that in terms of the striking alone could give a lot of problems to Payton Talbott, but once you got the Batistas and especially the Merabs and the Umars, like I'm saying, like that can mix it up on the ground. I think that Talbott's takedown defense and his defensive offensive grappling in general improved so fucking much from Barcelos going over to Lima, which that's what I was saying in the build-up. Like, I think that Talbott is young enough and he spends a little bit too much time in the coffee shop and reading a little bit too much of Fahrenheit 451 to where I think that this guy probably learns very quick. He's young enough to fucking do so. He's probably a fucking sponge in the gym, just absorbing anything they throw at him. So I feel like it was inevitable that, like some Thanos shit, that Peyton Talbott would be improving the takedown defense by a lot. And he did do that against Lima, but going against these guys that are going to be hanging in the upper echelon of the division in a couple of years, I think they might be too much for Peyton Talbott. So I think Peyton Talbott will be in a top 5 near you. I sound like a John Anik line. Peyton Talbott in a top 5 near you. Like, that's something that John Anik would say, but I really do think that he's good enough. His striking is crisp enough, high output enough. He's a heavy pressure fighter who hits fucking hard. He's good defensively on the feet, and now the takedown defense and his shit on the ground has been improving a lot. So I feel like that Peyton Talbott could become a future top contender. I think that he will be in the top 5 by 2027 or some shit. I think he's going to keep evolving, keep winning. He'll lose here and there for sure. I don't think the guy's going to become a champion, but he'll keep evolving, and his striking is fucking amazing for the weight class, which is a division full of great strikers. So for Talbott to stand out in that regard at that specific weight class says a lot. So I think his striking is good. I think his wrestling's improving a lot. I think that his cardio and a couple other things, if they could just shape it up a little more, man, this guy's going to be really dangerous for so many guys. So Peyton Talbott, easy to hop off the fucking wave, but I'm telling you right now, he will be a future top contender. I agree with this man. He's going to keep improving, and I don't think he'll become champion. I think a lot of guys right now, and even in the future, can and will beat him, but I don't think that just makes him a bad fucking fighter. I don't think that just means that he's not going to be a top contender. You know what I'm saying? So this is some I believe in Joe Hendry shit. I believe in Talbot. You know what You know what I'm fucking saying. Moving on, man. Moving on to the last one we got, man. Coming from, and I'm going to botch this name. I'm very fucking sorry, but Aisnathi Deontay. I botched the fuck out of it, brother. I botched the fuck out of it. I'm sorry, but Izanati. I don't... All right, well, I'm sorry, brother. I'm very sorry. Thank you for submitting your take, my friend. Saying that Khabib Nurmagomedov can't be number 2 going down when it comes to who is the GOAT of this sport, because having 29 wins and 0 losses, becoming the lightweight champion who did defend his belt, the unreal part is that in those 29 fights, he didn't have a scratch, never bleeded. No ways. He will always be number 1 on the GOAT list. Sorry. My friend, I gotta disagree with this pretty fucking hard. Because listen, I appreciate you sending in this take, man. I can tell you're very passionate for Khabib. I see you in the comment section. I can tell that you love Khabib and that you want this guy to be the GOAT of the sport, but I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I just genuinely believe that Khabib is a top 10 at best, but he's not in the top 5, let alone top 3 or top 1, all right? The fact that you're saying it's disrespectful to call him number 2, I feel like him being the number 2 of all time would still be a lot better than him being the top 5 or 10, because for me personally, all right, and I get that the GOAT list is one of the most objective fucking things in the sport, especially in terms of a talking point. So I think that everybody's entitled to their own fucking opinion here, but to be honest, like, Khabib is around my, like, 7 to 10, maybe not even 10, like that 7 to 9 range. That's where I have Khabib. I think that he is the second greatest lightweight of all time. I think that his dominance is something that should really be kept into account. It's so fucking impressive. Like his title run, it was great to see, and he really developed a lot of finishing ability as well. Like when Khabib was on top, it was a good time for that division, man. He was taking on all the top contenders. He was finishing them more impressively every single fight, and the guy was developing a lot on the feet in terms of the striking. So I feel like Khabib, man, the skill set was there clearly. Like he became so well-rounded by the end of his career, and who knows what would have happened to him if he kept on fighting. But man, you can't be the GOAT of the sport where your best wins are Dustin Poirier or Conor McGregor or like a Justin Gaethje, Al Iaquinta, Edson Barboza, Michael Johnson, like shit like that. Like Khabib does have a good fucking resume. He does have a good title reign for his weight class, especially the fact he defended as much as he did goes to show great things. And to be undefeated in the sport and go out that way is one of the most rare fucking things you could do. It's a beautiful, precious thing. Like going out undefeated, going out on top, it's so fucking rare. And again, barely losing any rounds. I think he arguably lost 1 or 2 rounds to like McGregor and Gaethje, and that's fucking it. Other than that, it's been dominance. So the dominance and the fact that he does have a solid resume, especially for how hard it is to defend the belt at his weight class, man, like Khabib does belong in the top 10 greatest fighters of all time. The guy is fucking good in terms of his skill set, and the guy was consistently just unfazed in the octagon, man. Like he had a great chin. He took everybody's biggest shots. He was really fucking elite on the ground. He had great cardio to back it up and maintain a heavy pace. He had great fight IQ that he applied every time. So the guy was great. He's a great fucking fighter, this guy. He's top 10 of all time, but I feel like everybody that puts him on the Mount fucking Rushmore, there's like Demetrius Johnson, and then you got fucking John Jones, and then George St. Pierre, and then the fourth one, Khabib. Like, I just don't fucking think so, man. Like, I don't think Khabib is all the way up there. Like, what he did was great, but I think Islam Makhachev alone is better than him. He's better in terms of his skill set. He's the better striker. He's just as good in the wrestling department. Maybe not as good, but he's elite enough and dominant enough to hang up there with Khabib. And I feel like in general, like, Islam is just a more perfected elite version of Khabib, who is already very elite. And I think that he recently just surpassed him as the lightweight GOAT. And that's just Islam Makhachev, man. Like, I put Jones, GSP, Volkanovski, even maybe like a Daniel fucking Cormier above Khabib. I gotta fucking be honest here, man. So I apologize, but Khabib fans, they love him. They love him fucking hard. But at the end of the day, I just can't put Khabib in my top 5 or even top 1, man. That's crazy. This is definitely a hot take. But that is gonna be it here, man, for Hot Takes episode motherfucking 9, man. I appreciate y'all so very much. To anybody who submitted anything in, whether I put in the video or not, I endlessly appreciate it either fucking way, man. So thank you so very much to everybody watching. Give me your time and attention. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know some of your hot takes. Let me know what you think of the hot takes mentioned in this video. Where were these guys right? Where were they fucking wrong? Let me know in the comments below. Was I right and yapping about it, or was I wrong? Let me know as well, man. So I appreciate y'all a lot, man. Please give this video a like. Please hit subscribe. It'd be really appreciated. So regardless, all the smoke here. Appreciate y'all a lot, man. Hope you have a good time watching the fights this weekend, boys. And I will see you all next time.